Okay.
Okay,
Madam President, I think we're ready.
all righty. I will call this meeting to order. And I would love for our student to lead us in the flag salute. Alexis.
Sure. Okay. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And
to the republic for which it stands,
One
one nation,
under
under God, indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so in closed session by a vote of 5-0, the board took action to approve the resignation and settlement agreement and general release between the district and the certificated employee number 1578. Pursuant to the terms of the agreement, certificated employee number 1578 resigns effective June 30, 2020, and will remain in paid administrative leave status through the date of resignation. Under the agreement, certificated employee number 1578 releases the district from any and all legal claims. Also, in closed session by a vote of 5-0, the board heard the statement of charges for a 3-day suspension without pay for classified employee number 18742. The board voted to approve the 3-day suspension for the following dates: April 21st, 2020, April 22nd, 2020, and May 7th, 2020. Now we will go into voting for regular business meeting. I need a motion and a second to adopt the minutes of March 3rd, 2020.
So moved. That's
Second.
Bill.
Second, John.
Okay, I'm gonna have roll call. So Alexis,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
and Lisa.
Yes.
And Mary, yes. Now, we had an emergency meeting related to the novel coronavirus on March 13. I need a motion and a second.
I move.
Second.
Roll call again. And Alexis, you won't vote on this one because you weren't there. So, John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Lisa.
Yes.
Now we will vote on study session, March 17, 2020. I need a motion and a second.
So moved. Bill.
Second, John.
Roll call again. John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
and Mary, yes. Okay, we will now go into superintendent's report. Dr. Lynn?
Thank you, Madam President, and welcome everyone who are with us as a panelist and those who are watching from your home in safe distance. I got to tell you, this is obviously our very first virtual board meeting, and during this unprecedented times, and I'm looking at Joe Fritsch. I want to say thank you to Joe. I want to say thank you to Mark. From really from where you're at, able to support us remotely so we can have this board meeting virtually possible. And even though this is our first, I'm hoping that the future meetings, we will not have too many more virtual meetings, that we'll be able to return to normalcy and the definition that is defined by in the very near future, but able to have some leader for that.
You're cutting out, Dr.
Funding.
Lin.
There's no other way to put it. And yet, what I have found so far over the past 3 weeks is that our community has really come together in solidarity, and they really have supported the work that we're doing. And I want to say thank you to a lot of folks. I want to give my support us with unyielding efforts and a lot of grace and a lot of forgiveness. We thank you very much for that. And I also want to thank our community, our parents in particular, thank them for their peace and also their
I think,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes,
Yeah.
Did I drop off just recently?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so I won't repeat everything I just said.
You were,
so I wanna
you
go
were at the
back to-
community.
The community wanted to thank our community, especially our parents. I do want to make sure that's heard. Our parents has been very patient and understanding of the situation we're in. And they know that we're literally working in a perfect situation. We're trying to reach a high bar to perfection. So with that said, I want to thank specifically our staff, beginning, I think back 3 weeks ago with our child nutritional services grab and go meal program, all the administrators and the teachers and folks who have supported that endeavor, including some of the board members in the beginning, this is before the stay home order. And then to all of the design and the hard work behind the scenes from Lisa Simon's division, along with San Brunoser's division, and making distance learning a reality. And of course, back that up with IT support over the past week and a half in terms of the distribution, the identification, and making sure the initialization of these devices are working for our communities, and especially our needy communities, making sure that we get the devices to them so we could continue with teaching and learning from a distance. And I cannot forget our nurses, obviously, our counselors, and certainly our administrators. And last but not least, I want to say thank you wholeheartedly to our teachers. Now that the distance learning is on its way, today's the second day, the bulk of the work rests once again with our teachers. So I have a lot of respect and admiration for them, and I know I speak for everyone here. And I don't want to belabor too much, but I definitely wanted to thank the folks who are within the CNUSD community and for everyone's support and their hard work. A little bit of statistics I want to share with you, as I mentioned before, on one of the webinars and videos of the executive order that came from the governor. There are two mandates we must fulfill under the executive order. First and foremost is continue with the food delivery for needy families. So I'm happy to report over the past 3 weeks, we have distributed over 25,000 meals to our families, and this continues to move forward over this the closure of our schools. And this happens again every Monday over 7 different sites. I mentioned earlier about the laptop distribution. Again, thank you to Ben and all of our administrators who are involved. We distributed over 1,200 computers in phase 1. And phase 2 is upcoming sometime next week. And soon thereafter, we have order in the neighborhood of 500 hotspots. We want to make sure connectivity does not slow down our learning. And so that will be distributed also as part of the phase 2. And before I turn it over to Dr. Brunostro to give us an update on mental health, I just want to say one last thing, and that is a shout out to the most resilient class I have ever worked with in my 30 years in education. That's the class of 2020. I want you to know that we're working on a campaign to honor you. And we want to say thank you for your resilience. And also, I'd like to announce starting this Friday, CNUSD will partake in what's called the Be the Light 2020. And with that, how that works is that all of our high schools, comprehensive high schools, will turn on our stadium light for 20 minutes on military time 2020, which is 8:20 and going up to 8:40 starting this Friday, honoring once again our seniors. Hang in there, and we can't wait to see you very, very soon at graduation. With that, I mentioned earlier about mental health, a critical piece as we're going through the adjustment for the COVID-19 teaching and learning mode. Difficult for families, difficult for parents, difficult for students. And I'm really appreciative of Dr. Reynoso's leadership in developing a mental health initiative for our community. And Sam, if you can give a quick update on that, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lynn. I'll be brief. As you mentioned, so this week with the start of distance learning, official start of distance learning, so we have a lot of mental health, a lot of social emotional learning activities planned, but we don't want to do it this week because we want our students and our teachers to get acclimated to distance learning. But so we have a robust program for self-care and exercise and services and resources, again, for our students, for our parents, for our teachers, for our classified, for really our entire community, being provided by our counselors, our psychologists, our teachers, of course. We also have the Parent Center that has a variety of activities planned as well. And resources, especially our Parent Center staff is back this week. It's distance, remote access, but they're back and really help out, especially our as we talk to our principals. There's a need for that communication with our parents, with our most needy parents and families. So our Parent Center has jumped on that as well. So yes, we have a list of activities for the months of April. And also for the month of May. And in June, our focus is going to be celebration. And celebration, just like Dr. Lynn was saying, celebration the class of 220, but celebration across the board for our teachers and for our students and for our community. So that's kind of where we are. I also want to thank Evita and our communications team for all of their hard work. And they will be getting out more communication out in this particular area tomorrow and for weeks to come. So that's my report, Dr. Lynn.
Thank you, Sam. And the last thing I wanted to add, again, as you mentioned, Dr. Bernostro, is our communications effort. In a time like this, our communication effort is first and foremost, and it covers all areas that we're talking about. So, Avita, thank you so much for your support and your staff. Brittany, Mark, Steve, everybody behind, Lillian, a lot of work that you're doing. We appreciate you. And with that, that concludes my report. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, public hearing. 2019-2020 resolution number 81 to increase statutory school fees imposed on new residential and commercial industrial development projects pursuant to Ed Code section 17620. Ms. Now, do we have any comments submitted on this item?
Madam President, we do not.
Okay. The public is now closed. The public hearing is now closed and the board will consider resolution later in the meeting. Okay, 2020-2021 successor sunshine proposal filed jointly by the Corona Norco Unified School District and the Corona Norco Teachers Association. Pursuant to the requirement of the government code, a Board of Education must receive public input prior to adopting its initial proposal in response to an employee organization's first collective bargaining contract proposal. CNUSD and CNTA have filed jointly the 2020-2021 successor sunshine proposal in accordance with section 3547A of the government code and presented this to the board at tonight's meeting. Copies of the proposal have been available online for public review the past 3 days. The review period culminates at this public hearing. Ms. Now, do we have any comments submitted on this item?
Yes, we do, Madam President, and I'm going to defer to Glenn Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you, Madam President and Board. The Corona Norco Teachers Association and CNUSD are filing this joint sunshine proposal for our upcoming negotiations. This year, the negotiations will take place virtually in accordance with the public health physical distance requirements currently in place. As with last year, we will utilize 2 interest-based bargaining facilitators through our association with the CEC. The dates of the negotiation will be May 4th through the 8th. We have also set a tentative date of July 23rd for an additional negotiation session later in the summer to discuss compensation. As in the past, we look forward to continuing our strong tradition of collaboration throughout this negotiation session.
Thank you, Glenn. Now we will move on to student board report. Alexis?
Thank you, Madam President. So I have an interesting report tonight, but I still have things to report. So Centennial is planning several social media activities for students to send in videos and pictures for all grades to show off their high school experience so far. And they also have a graphic out on social media for anyone to nominate a senior they would like to recognize that ended on April 3rd. So they are going through and posting the submissions on their ASB social media accounts, and they're really trying to highlight the students' achievements online and give them recognition, especially for the seniors. Santiago is currently having their ASB election through social media campaigns, which started on April 3rd and ended on April 10th. And they have voting online, and all of their campaigning is done online as well. And their class elections are coming up soon, which will follow the same online format. Roosevelt is working on leadership skills at home in daily journals through their ASB class and doing weekly leadership challenges. Their last one was drawing inspirational sidewalk chalk. They're also starting social media challenges like Instagram bingo for students, and they're still planning events for the summer. Corona and JFK joined forces a few weeks ago for a social media spirit week. Though many students were not sure how to participate, many of the sports teams participated on their social media accounts. Corona is having a class election online following a similar format as Santiago and campaigning through social media that will hopefully begin next week. They're hoping to plan more activities to involve students when enrichment learning begins, and especially want to focus on supporting the seniors. And JFK and Norco both did not respond. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. Board member report, we will start with John.
Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you especially to staff really across the board for just doing such an amazing job through unprecedented times. And I talked before we kind of started the meeting with Alexis. I know our hearts go out to all of our seniors. Yeah, we just feel. Sometimes I think we feel worse than you do, because I know several of us have shed tears at, sorry, Mary, gonna get you going, huh? Just because I'm gonna get myself going, because it is a special time, and we feel like you're being robbed, but know that you are absolutely in our hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers, and that, like I mentioned to Alexis, when come back for the 10-year reunion, you'll look at this and hopefully laugh and understand that it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But with that said, I know we're going to try and do some special things as depending upon what the health of the nation is, and what the county health advisor says we can do. But hopefully we'll be able to do some celebration, because they absolutely deserve it. But just another shout out to everyone who has just done an amazing job in, as they say, unprecedented times. So thank you all so much.
Jose Lalas.
Hello, good evening. Echoing everybody's sentiments. We're all trying to help out with what's going on by staying home, staying safe, staying healthy, and doing what needs to be done. But I have a couple of questions. If you can respond to it, fine. If not, maybe for the next meeting. My first question is regarding our impressions of teachers. Uh, because I'm in the midst of this, I know how challenging it is to convert person-to-person delivery of instruction to digital, and it, I'm pretty adjustable, but I'm still struggling. So I want to know what's our pulse on those sites. Are the teachers being challenged? Are they having some challenges? How's the professional development going on? Do we have a sense of that? I heard some good things from teachers from my neighborhood here, but I hear some other things from others. So I want to know if we have a good sense of where is everybody at in terms of, hey, this is easy, this is a piece of cake. What are the people's opinion right now in terms of teaching?
With Dr. Lawless, I'm going to at least jump in real quick because she's more closer to the ground, but I'd like to share with the board in response to your question. We have, let's see, a total of 6 separate principal meetings via Zoom weekly. And today we had 2, for example, and we were doing exactly that, trying to check the pulse of what's going on. But I think you just mentioned it. It's literally really a range from having difficulty with their own technical devices at home to doing a great job. And as I mentioned earlier in my introduction, that a lot of the teachers themselves are forming these online communities and groups and helping each other getting through that. And that's just a wonderful thing. If I were to, if someone were to, you did, and you asked me, what's your overall pulse? What I would tell you, other than the range I just described, is that for day 2, our teachers are doing a good job. Are we there yet? No, we only started just 2 days ago. There's a lot more to go, but my understanding is that the pulse, as far as where we're heading, when it comes to this track. Please, would like to add anything to that?
Yeah, just one little piece to that, Michael. I think you said it well, very consistent with most of the districts in the state. Just to add, just so proud of our teachers. We've had over 6,600 teachers, not just attendees, but we're talking peoples, over 6,600 people who have attended professional learning activities in the past 2 weeks. So that speaks a lot to the dedication and professionalism of our teachers. So we're really excited about how they've embraced this. But again, yes, kind of all over the place in expertise but definitely the effort, and we're hearing good things as well as, trying to solve questions, and we will continue that professional learning throughout the year and the summer.
All right. Thank you. The other one I have is more on the pulse of our community side by side, because I don't know if I'm sure you heard about it, that one of our Corona Norco graduates, it's a fatality, right? He's one of the, he died, she died, she's a graduate from Norco High School. She lives in Corona. So this is more on a human level, where we have to know what's going on those sites, so we know whether or not coronavirus is here. Because as I look at the news, the number of cases in Riverside is going up, and there are some fatalities too. And we already know 2 in our area, one from Eastvale and one from Norco High, whose parents live in Corona. So I thought I just alert us as a school district, since we're so connected with parents and kids, to be on the lookout for all of that, just so we know. Do we have any sense of that, or do we have plans to do that? Because once 1 or 2 got the case in wherever spot, it becomes very dangerous that it will have an outbreak. So I hope that it's in our plan to make sure that we're on the lookout of any outbreak of cases. in our
Dr.
community.
Lawless, thank you for asking. We keep tabs on the cases that's developing within the boundary, and for that matter, really within the county of Riverside. But that information comes from the county Department of Health's statistics. I get data like that once a day on a weekday, and so but Sam and I we look at it very closely and get the information out with Avita's help to the necessary divisions and the folks that need to provide support. So yes, indeed, we do monitor that, but that information does come from the Department of Health.
If I may add to it, Dr. Lalas, as Dr. Lynn said, we monitor that daily. We're part of a conference call as well. It is in our community, just like it's across the world, the coronavirus. And yes, we did lose a parent as well in Eastvale, and it's affected a couple of our schools, and the principals are aware, and our counselors and psychologists, and they have provided support to the family, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you.
Miss Lisa.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My sentiments too. It's an unfortunate thing, but I think everyone is stepping up and being part of this as a team player. Mary and I attended Region 18 meeting with other board members and from CASBA, and this was a general resounding thing where they have concerns too. So it's not only us that are struggling through these situations. Some of the primary things we talked about was what we were doing as a district as far as grades were concerned. That was a hot topic. And basically everyone was saying no harm to the students. And so the bulk of everyone is keeping the grades as they were either at the semester or the quarter, and then the kids could not go lower than that particular grade. However, Europa is giving fail credit, no credit. And there was concern about the colleges accepting that. And they were saying that the colleges were okay with that particular, because especially the juniors who were worried about being either credit or no credit. The other issue was, again, teachers trying to find ways, because some teachers do not know how to do digital learning, but they're out there trying to figure out how they can make this a little bit more easy. But the bottom line is that this is not going to go away. Once we go back to school and we resume, it will be a new way. It will not be the normalcies that we were used to in the past. So a lot of what we're learning now will help us when we come back in the fall. So we'll just improve upon it, and we'll probably have a better grasp on it. But everybody's all over the place right now. And so we're not the only ones. We also talked about the third thing, which was another hot topic, was about the distribution of food. And that was very important. Most of them were still passing out daily. However, some have now scaled down to 2 times a week. And then we mentioned 1 time a week. And I know that my sister-in-law, who works for food services in Chino, thank you, Alan, for giving that information. They're looking at doing that too as well, to curtail the connection between the possibility of getting infected or passing on the infection. And so thank you very much for doing that. So we're working together, and that's the main thing, is that every district has its pluses and negatives. And probably our big thing is that we don't have as much money, even though we're the biggest district, and we're doing the best we can. And so we're trying to give our students every availability to get to a hotspot or get to receive a loaner laptop or whatever it may be. But we want to make sure that the students have an opportunity to learn, and that's what we're all about. So be safe. And I'm really pleased to see that the social emotional learning piece is going to be added next week. And so we need to make sure that we're keeping our heads straight and we're happy. And like I say, stay indoors. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill?
Hi, thank you, Madam President. Before I start my report, I just wanted to chime in, and Dr. Lawless, coming from the medical standpoint, HIPAA and privacy is very, very important. And so some of the issues cannot be discussed if the family doesn't want that or grant that. So that's one of the issues I just wanted to throw out. Some of it's out of our control because of HIPAA. Hi, everyone. I want to tell you how much I miss my CNUSD family. We sometimes take things for granted, and I think this is a reminder not to do so. My report is more of a note of gratitude and thanks. I want to thank, a lot of it is similar to Dr. Lynn, but I want to thank our students and our families for your patience, your grace, and for your understanding as we work to navigate through this, this time of uncertainty. Ultimately, remember that your safety and your physical and emotional well-being are what we're all striving for. Sometimes it might not seem that way, but truly it is. Obviously, the educational enrichment and online learning are indeed important, but the social emotional health and well-being is vital at this time. So like Lisa said, I'm very happy to hear about what's going to be happening next week. And again, we're thinking of all our students, but as Dr. Lynn mentioned, our seniors were we especially feel for your pain and disappointment, and we really want to make sure that we're going to celebrate your hard work and accomplishments. Just be patient as we work through this. Teachers, thank you for your incredible service to our students, all while being flexible, patient, and for stepping out of your comfort zones. We've always known your true value, but with the new batch of homeschooling teachers that are coming out and seeing how difficult your job really is, your worth is truly now understood. I hope you've been able to focus on the health and well-being of yourselves and your families, but I'm also very grateful that you're providing your students with some much needed hope and stability. And classified staff, a huge thank you for all you're doing for keeping our district running, keeping it safe and clean and well kept, for stepping up in a huge way by providing all the families with food, supplies, and hope. We really appreciate you. Site administrators, you're the glue that's holding everything together. You're communicating with your students, with their families, with teachers, staff, with the district office and district administrators. You've been our lifeline. And then finally, thank you, Dr. Lynn, Executive Cabinet, and everyone at the district office. You've worked endlessly to allow the district to continue to function by gathering information from our county, state, and federal leaders. You're being flexible and accessible to us. We're truly blessed with your leadership and your guidance. And then fellow board members, thank you for your direction and your prayers as we work through this together. Is it perfect? No, of course not. Is everyone happy and satisfied? Definitely not. But have we poured out our hearts and our souls into doing what we feel is best for our students and our families and our CNUSD community? Absolutely. I'm excited to see, as Lisa mentioned, how we can grow and improve as a district in the future. We can use this to really evaluate what's important, what works, what doesn't, how we can best serve and support those students and families that really have the greatest needs. I want to conclude my report with a brief clip from one of my favorite movies. Thank you to Ben and Joe for helping me with this. To me, it reminds me of our experience during this pandemic. It's from Apollo 13. The words are from Gene Kranz, the flight director of the mission control team. He's most famous for saying, failure is not an option, but I just love the confidence and positivity he exudes in this scene during a time of serious crisis. So Joe, if possible, can you start the clip?
Copy that.
Is this typhoon still present in the splashdown?
Yeah.
We got the parachute situation, the heat shield, the angular trajectory, and the typhoon. There's just so many variables. I'm a little
I know what
lost.
the problems are, Henry. This could be the worst disaster NASA's ever experienced.
With all due respect, sir, I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Thank you, Joe. That concludes my report.
Thank you. And I want to echo what everyone has said so far. And also my report today will be to thank our heroes on the front line. I know a lot of us have children. This is tough. I know a lot of us have children that are on the front line. Elizabeth, John, Jose, nurses, doctors, and one of our heroes that's sitting right here before us, Bill. Thank you, Bill, so much for what you do every day. I know you put your life on the line too, seeing patients, and you never know what they have until you examine them. Thank you so much, Bill. Our teachers who started distance learning yesterday, learning how to reach out to their students in just a few weeks. They have done an amazing job. And like Dr. Lynn said, we're not totally there yet, but they're getting it. Our parents who are working so hard to keep their children on task with what is needed to keep up on this distance learning. I would also like to thank our classified cafeteria workers and administrators who have been diligent in passing out meals to our families. Since the school closure, our district has provided 240,730 meals. Together, home and school, and hand in hand, we will get through this. Thank you for your patience, everyone. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, Ms. Now, do we have any comments from CNTA?
No, we don't, Madam President.
Do we have any comments from CSEA?
No, we don't.
Okay, now do we have any public comments?
We do not have any public comment this evening.
Okay, we will go straight to consent items. Are there any questions, comments, highlights on any of the consent items?
Yes. I just have a question on 11B. 11B.
Okay.
And I might have, I think I will ask a question as well on 12B and 12C.
Since it's a question, could we just start with asking your question? Is that okay, Judy?
Yeah.
He's not polling, he's just asking a question. So 11B, what is your question?
All right, so it's part of the pull out, right? Are you asking me to pull it out?
No, you said you just have a question. You didn't say pull out, so let's just have your question, sir.
I'm pulling it out.
You're pulling it out?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not a question. So you're gonna pull 11B?
Yes, and 12B and 12C.
And 12D as in David?
B as in boy.
Oh, B as in boy?
B as in boy.
And what else?
12C.
Anybody else?
Yes, Madam President, I would like to also pull the Human Resources Report, which is item number 16A for comment.
And then, Madam President, just a question. I don't need this pulled, but from Alan, I would just like a little clarification on 15H. It's on the E property. It has an amount on it, but then it has a, I think, 1.25 or something. So I just want clarification, if I could, Alan, on that.
Okay.
Madam President, would you like me to comment on that now or wait?
Let's vote, right?
Okay.
Well, I think Mr. Zeeb's just wanting to, he doesn't need to poll it. He's just wanting clarification, if I'm correct, Mr. Zeeb?
Correct. I don't need
Okay.
that pulled. No,
Well, go
just
ahead.
clarification. So,
15H. So Ellen?
Yes. So thank you, Mr. Z. So this is the contract with Mark Rogers, TRG Land, who's been doing all the work on our 57 acres down in Temescal Valley, the Yee property. And because of the recent work we've done to now begin to proceed with the grading, we've had to increase his contract $25,000 for an aggregate total of 67. The 1.25 is for any expenses, which would be travel, which is pretty common with most vendors, that they charge us for airfare, mileage, things like that, when they come in to conduct meetings. Like he attended, for example, our 7-Eleven committee meetings. So he would charge us for any meals he incurred or mileage he incurred to come and attend those meetings.
Okay, very good. That clears up my question. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam President, I do just have one also, not to pull, but just clarification on 11C as in cat. Was that one pulled?
That's the one Jose's pulling.
No, he's pulling 11B.
He's pulling 11B and C.
12.
No, 11B.
Yeah, he's also pulling 12B and 12C.
Yeah.
And I believe Mr. Pollock's asking about 11C.
C as in cat. Yeah, not
Okay.
for polling, but just for information.
Question, okay.
Yeah,
And I can respond to that, Madam President.
Yes.
For 11C, Mr. Pollock, thank you for asking. So this on consent is a resolution number 87, and so what that is actually at the request of the Riverside County Emergency Management Department, and they are requesting every district in the Riverside County to either have already adopted this resolution or going to adopt, and we're asking the board to adopt this tonight. The biggest reason for this resolution is the event of any kind of federal reimbursement from places like like FEMA or local, such as California Disaster Assistance Act. In order to receive that kind of money, this resolution is necessary for documentation. So that's the biggest reason why. Again, we're just one out of the 23 that are submitting this resolution for your consideration.
Great. Thank you for that explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Pollock.
So let's see. Glenn, did you want to speak on 16A?
Yes.
And then we'll vote on everything after.
Okay. So on 16A, after the board agenda was posted, there's one item in the board report. It is item number 6E on page 21 in the classified section of the Human Resources report. We'd like to amend the item and bring it back to the board for consideration in May. That one particular item, 6E. Everything else, we'd ask that the Human Resources report be approved except for item number 6E on page 21.
So I need a motion.
I move.
Second.
That was a vote for consent items, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I need a second. Oh, Jose, second. All in favor? So let me take a roll call. John? John, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jose?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Lexus?
Yes.
And Mary, yes. Okay, now, Dr. Lawless, 11B.
Yeah, 11B. When it was agendized the last time, I reread it and I don't see any difference. So I just wanted to ask the question, when we talk about signing bonuses or mentoring or credential costs or additional compensation, are those topics need to be discussed with the bargaining unit, Glenn or Dr. Lin?
Yes, I can speak to that.
Yeah.
So the idea with this is the board in establishing policy, it does just that, gives the broad parameters around such things. The idea of offering some sort of bonus to different employee groups is part of that board policy in the recruitment and selection piece, especially if we have difficulty finding particular types of service. Anything that would fall within the scope of negotiation before implementation obviously would be negotiated. Absolutely.
All right. So why it is not in the policy, that is the standard procedure. From the policy, when it talks about compensation and bonuses, then it needs to be discussed with the bargaining unit. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, if we move forward with implementing those things, we would certainly negotiate the impacts and effects of
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Just want to make sure that we have that common understanding. So I move for approval.
Who seconds?
Second.
All in favor, we're gonna vote. John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Alexis,
Yes.
Mary, yes. All right, Jose, 12B.
Yeah, 12B and 12C. I just wanna.
One at a time, Jose.
Okay.
12B first.
12B. Can you explain no one is being disadvantaged by lowering the number of units?
Yeah. Oh, thank you
Dr.
for
Simon?
thank you so much for asking that question, Dr. Lawless. You know, when COVID-19 struck, we weren't prepared for that. And we have a number of students that were scheduled to be taking credit recovery courses, and they were not able to start those courses. They actually waited almost a month to actually start the classes, to connect with their counselors, to get enrolled, and so on. So what we have done is we are working very closely with our counselors and also our administrators to review the students' credits. And we want to have the option to reduce the credits for our comprehensive high school students to 180 for this year, given the pandemic. And because we recognize that it was well beyond their control for the past month of not being able to engage in any credit recovery courses. Essentially, they could have completed 1 to 2 courses and didn't have that option. The other thing that we cannot control to a degree, and the students cannot control, is reaching the students. They could be trying to connect with us, you know, with their sites. We could be trying to connect with them. So there's some of these things that are out of our control. In the spirit of showing grace and working with our students, given the situation that is beyond, you know, everyone's control, we felt that this is something that would definitely support students and to help them graduate and get on with their lives.
So, and that connects well with what Mrs. Marroquin was reporting about, right?
Correct.
That kind of discussion. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I so move for approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, we're gonna take a vote. John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Alexis,
Yes.
Mary, yes. Okay, 12C.
Yeah, Dr. Simon, this the same way. Just clarify. Just assure us that this is not disenfranchising any students in any way.
Yes, thank you again, Dr. Lawless, for that question, and I really appreciate that. And I do have Milisov on board to give even further detail if needed. Again, this is regarding our students in alternative education. Now we're looking at our students at Orange Grove and Adult Ed, and also Lee Pollard High School. And again, as you know, these are, we're talking about students that have really serious issues beyond what we normally encounter regarding the credit, regarding needing credit recovery beyond what our comprehensive high school students need. Additionally, they too are suffering from this pandemic, and also trying to connect with our kids has been a challenge. As you know, they too have been put on hold for a month before they could actually continue earning credits. And I can tell you, I can assure you that our principals and teachers wanted to reach out to our kids right away, and we could not allow that to happen per our governor and state superintendent, the laws and so on. So we know that this is a time in their life. It's one time only during this school year to reduce that credit. The state recognizes it, they approve it. It's in ed code, and I know that Milosov could give more details if you need that. But again, it's just to help the students graduate and move forward.
That's good. That's good. All right. Thank you, Dr. Simon.
Question, Dr. Simon, about how many students are we looking at that fit this category?
Yes, that's a great question. Now I can share some rough numbers with you, and mind you that our counselors are just scrubbing the data right now. But what I do have is a good estimate as of a week ago. And we're looking at a possible students needing, this is actually including students with 180 credits and 130. We're looking at a total of 157 students. With the comprehensive high schools, just checking, less than 60 students that we're talking about qualifying for the 180 credits. And the remaining students would be qualifying for the 130 credits at the alternative ed schools.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It seems to me that Dr. Simon's department is really taking care of these issues. So I move for approval.
I need a second.
A second.
Okay, we're gonna take a vote. John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Lisa, where did you, oh, there you are, Lisa.
Yes.
Alexis, where'd she go? Oh,
Yes.
and Mary, yes. The pictures keep moving. Okay. So on 15AA, Mr. Alan Giles.
Thank you again, Madam President. So this is our Roosevelt property. Back 2012, I believe it was, the district declared this as property. We've gone out a number of times to try to sell the property. And in February, we were notified that we had a potential buyer. So in March, the board adopted a resolution with its intent to sell. And we did receive one bid for the asking price of $2.6 million, of which the district will net after closing costs and all of that associated with the sale. We will net just a little under $2.5 million for the sale of this property. So before you tonight is the resolution number 92 to adopt for the purchase to the one bid we received for the Roosevelt property of $2.6 million. I'd be glad to take any questions anybody might have on that.
I'm good.
Okay, I need a motion.
So move.
I need a second.
A second.
Okay,
Yes,
roll
Bill.
call. John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Alexis,
Yes.
Mary, yes. All right. So 15 we already talked about, right, Glenn?
So 16A, yes, if there was a approval, I'm not sure, we look at Judy for that. Was there approval of that piece?
I think you would need to approve the consent items and making the motion, just say with the exception of item 6E of page 21.
Correct. So on item 16A, which is the Human Resources Report, I would ask that you would approve that report except for item number 6E on page 21.
Okay, I need a motion.
So move.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call. John,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Alexis,
Yes.
Mary, yes. Okay, Glenn, would you like to speak on 16E?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. 16E is an action item. It is a recommendation to the board to adopt this resolution. As you know, we've had for a number of years an infant care program. Previously at 2 of our high schools, and just currently it's dwindled down to just 1 at 1 of our high schools. This program continues to, it was created to help students who become parents to remain in school. But over the years, the need for it has really diminished. The number of infants in the program have diminished to a very, very small amount, only 1 this next year coming up. So to maintain its staffing at the levels required by the state is really unsustainable at this point. So this consideration, this resolution would be to abolish the program itself, which would lead to the layoff of 8 classified employees, the infant care assistants and the infant care associates. It is our goal and determination to make sure that those employees have an ability to fill a vacancy that we currently have in another classification. But because this is a specific program that we are no longer maintaining, we do have to take this statutory requirement to accept this resolution.
Is there any questions to this?
Just a comment. I think it's wonderful that we have to eliminate this program. I'm not sure if everybody knows, but at one point we were actually at 2 high schools. We were at Centennial and Corona High School, and they were both pretty full programs, not too off, 10, 15 years ago. So it's, I think, impressive that we are having to even have this discussion because there's so little need, which is a really a positive.
Lisa?
No, I was just agreeing with John. Thank you.
Okay.
I had a question, Glenn. You said 8 total staffing, 8 total?
Yes, there's 8 classified employees that would be affected by this resolution. There's also a teacher in the program that we are committed to finding a spot for as well. That she wouldn't be specifically related to this resolution, but it is those 8 classified staff members.
Okay. I need a motion.
Move.
So moved. Second.
So moved in second. John, both?
Yeah.
Or who? Okay, who motioned? Lisa?
Yeah, go ahead, John, and put me second. That's
okay.
That's fine.
So roll call. John?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jose?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Alexis?
Yes.
Mary? Yes. All right. We will move to, can I please get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. John?
Yes.
Bill?
I've missed all your guys' faces. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yes.
Jose?
Yes.
Lisa?
Absolutely.
Alexis?
Yes.
Mary? Meeting adjourned. Stay safe. Stay in your houses, please.
All right. Bye.
Hey,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Everybody. Dr. Lynn.
Have a good night.